It's a really long, convoluted pathway, but I'll make it as succinct as I can be, which is I had a powerful interest in conservation in the environment. Started out in journalism, moved into water resources, and eventually ended up in administration related to conservation in the environment, both at the county and state level. And when it came time to make a final change, I kind of wanted to go back to my consulting roots. And through the many years of my work, I had just fallen into a lot of facilitation work and planning work, particularly strategic planning work. So when it came time to marry conservation and planning, I ended up doing a lot of strategic work related to sustainability and landed here doing a lot of that. I really try to help facilitate thinking through social, economic, and environmental components of any kind of planning that's being done. So if it's a comprehensive plan where traditionally perhaps they might have looked at transportation first, I make sure we're looking at stormwater at the same time, and watershed and water quality and habitat, and what's the public health impacts, the social components of all of the work that we're doing. So I try to be that spark that thinks as holistically as we possibly can and strategically as we possibly can. And that translates into something that hopefully will serve the public, the natural resources, the economy, and stand the test of time. Well, there's a lot of challenges. For one thing, sustainability can be considered a buzzword. It's defined widely. People don't necessarily understand what it means, so it's not always the greatest word to use. Then when you do understand it as kind of this social, economic, environmental, holistic look at things, there's a lot of folks who are still very focused on the single bottom line, the economic bottom line, and don't understand how to go about balancing social components and natural resources or environmental components. They don't necessarily understand what those things are or what they mean. And even when they do, they might be very interested, but they still tend to want to think about them in terms of economics. So what's their impact on our economic bottom line, as opposed to thinking about social outcomes, for example, public health outcomes in terms that may have nothing or little to do with dollars and cents. So the challenge is to get people to think about all of those things at once and with their own distinct sets of measures. It's not just dollars and cents. It's not personal pride. I've got a ton of pride, though, in the work that RDG in partnership with its communities will do. So my pride is on behalf of this organization and really many of the communities in Iowa and the Midwest. And it's any time you're involved with those players who are going to try and think bigger picture and pay attention to kind of a holistic point of view. So I have to say, I thought Cedar Rapids in its comprehensive planning of late, they won awards for it, and I think those were well deserved because the community, the leadership in the city, all the different players were really willing to come to a table, interact with each other in very engaging and refreshing ways, and look at things for a comprehensive plan that had perhaps traditionally not been part of that mix. That they were willing to do that, I was very proud of them, and that I think the results are starting to show. And then there was a particular component of that I was really excited about. We involved the high school students in a pretty refreshing way. Went into individual classrooms, 4 different classrooms, got them in small groups, got them talking about their ideas and their energy, and then we were able to bring those classrooms together for a big half-day session. And we did a traditional part of it where they're working in small groups, just like adults. This is what the teachers wanted, with flip charts and markers and, doing bullet points. And we also had them with guitars and poetry and art. And by the time it was done, some of the students were saying, I kind of thought I was going to just move out of Cedar Rapids when I graduated, but maybe this community's got something on the ball after all. That was a very rewarding moment. Everybody wants to see their young people care about the community they're involved in, and if we helped play a role in some of that happening in Cedar Rapids, that's exciting to me. I think what I just really want to accomplish is a dramatically improved spirit of collaboration in community and a much improved understanding of the role that natural resources and that public health and that social concerns play in creating our future, and that we as a people become much more connected to our outdoors, to our own personal and collective health.